I want you to just think about the last time you gave up on a new hobby.
Or a project, or even like a fitness goal.
Right, exactly. Just because it wasn't giving you those immediate results. You know the feeling, right? That
Yeah.
deep frustration when you put in like a week of effort and nothing
Oh,
happens.
yeah. The modern urge to just quit.
Yes, keep that exact feeling in your mind because it is the entire beating heart of our deep dive today. We're on a mission to unpack this really fascinating essay by an author named Xu Feng.
Yeah, it's titled The Longer the Gestation, the Sweeter the Fruit.
Such a great title. And our goal today is to explore this profound ancient wisdom that connects extreme patience with ultimate value.
And conversely, why our total obsession with shortcuts might be making our lives just completely toxic.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because the text doesn't start with some abstract philosophical concept, it starts right in the dirt.
Grounded in agriculture.
Exactly. It brings up this really old folk saying about the timelines of trees. It notes that peach trees take 3 years to bear fruit and apricot trees take 4.
Which already feels like a long time to wait for a snack.
Right, but then it points out that if you want a walnut, you have to wait 18 springs and autumns.
I mean, 18 years.
Hmm?
The author uses that to just immediately reorient your entire sense of time.
Yeah, 18 years for a single walnut?
Right. We live in a culture where a one-year plan feels like torture, you know? But nature just operates on this totally different ledger.
Well, and think about that 18-year timeline. If you plant a walnut tree, you're committing to the exact same gestational timeline as raising a human child.
Oh, wow. That's a really good point.
From birth until they literally pack up and go to college, you wouldn't look at a 3-year-old toddler and scream at them because they haven't finished a doctoral dissertation yet.
Right, you accept the slow development.
Yeah.
Because the end product is complex.
Exactly. But with our own goals, we plant the seed on Monday and start demanding a harvest by Thursday.
And the absurdity of that impatience gets even crazier when the text scales it up. It takes us from the earthly orchard straight into the cosmos.
Yeah, pulling from Journey to the West, right?
Yes, the classic Chinese novel. The author points to the ginseng fruit found at the Wuzhuang Temple. And the developmental timeline of this fruit is just staggering.
How staggering are we talking?
Well, it takes 3,000 years just for the tree to produce a bloom.
3,000 years just to flower. Okay.
Then another 3,000 years simply to bear the physical fruit.
Unbelievable.
And it's still not done. It takes an additional 3,000 years for that fruit to fully ripen.
So that is a 9,000-year commitment before anyone gets to take a single bite.
What's fascinating here is how these ancient myths construct a direct mathematical correlation between the duration of the gestation and the magnitude of the reward.
Right. Because the payoff isn't just a tasty snack.
Not at all. Consuming just one of those fully ripened ginseng fruits grants the eater 47,000 years of life.
Wow.
The mythology is basically encoding a law of nature into the story. The longer the wait, the bigger the prize. You see the exact same thing with the Queen Mother of the West's peach garden.
Oh, the tiered system. I love this part. It's such a perfect illustration.
Yeah, break that down for us.
So the garden is divided into 3 sections. In the front garden, the peaches take 3,000 years to ripen. And if you eat one, you get perfect health, lightness of body, and basic immortality.
Which, sounds pretty good to me.
I mean, basic immortality is the ultimate jackpot by human standards.
Right, but for the ancients, that's just the entry-level tier.
Exactly. So if you move to the middle garden, the peaches take 6,000 years. Double the investment. And the reward scales up exponentially. You get eternal life, but also the ability to ascend to heaven.
And then there's the back garden.
The pinnacle of existence. Those peaches demand 9,000 years of gestation, and eating one gives you longevity equal to heaven and earth itself.
So if the universe operates on this cosmic baseline where ultimate rewards require 9,000-year investments, it makes our obsession with overnight success look just completely unnatural.
It really does. And the author holds a mirror right up to that, contrasting those cosmic timelines with our microscopic modern attention spans.
The text actually diagnoses this as a cultural disease.
Yeah, planting a seed today and demanding fruit tomorrow, that restlessness basically guarantees we'll never taste anything truly sweet.
But the author takes it even further. It's not just about rushing the growth. It's this toxic desire to skip the planting phase entirely.
Oh, right, bypassing the dirt altogether.
Exactly. The text highlights how people increasingly resort to deceiving or stealing or robbing to get the fruits of other people's labor.
Which is a very seductive idea, especially because society often rewards the people who get away with it.
It does. And the text is realistic about that. It admits that success through theft can happen. But there's a massive psychological catch.
The toxic fruit concept.
Yes. The author warns that even if you steal the fruit, it will not be sweet. It's explicitly labeled as toxic.
So let's dive into that mechanism. Why does stealing the outcome ruin the actual prize?
Because the gestation period isn't just about the fruit developing. It's about the cultivator developing.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Right. The years spent watering, waiting, weathering storms, that process forges the discipline and resilience you need to actually handle the reward when it finally arrives.
So if you skip the process, you just lack the internal infrastructure to wield the success.
Exactly. Think of a lottery winner. They suddenly get immense wealth without the decades of financial discipline it normally takes to build it.
Right, and they often end up bankrupt or miserable.
Because the unearned outcome acts as a poison to an unprepared mind. The slow process is literally what metabolizes the toxicity out of the achievement.
That lack of internal infrastructure shows up constantly nowadays. The author illustrates this with the religious dabbler, which was incredibly recognizable.
Oh, the 3-day monk.
Yes. The text describes someone who wants spiritual enlightenment, so they study Buddhism, but they only give it 3 days.
And when they aren't a literal Buddha by day 4.
They throw their hands up and immediately switch to studying the Bible instead.
And it gets worse from there. Before they even understand the text, they start trying to preach the Bible to other people.
Right. And when someone asks a challenging question, they just stubbornly quote isolated lines out of context to hide their ignorance.
Or they just quit entirely and declare that all classic texts are useless.
When I read that, I immediately thought of the self-improvement industry. Like, this religious dabbler is basically the ancient equivalent of downloading a language app.
Oh, totally.
You do the digital flashcards for 3 days, you learn how to say hello and apple, and then you get furious that you can't write a novel in French.
It's the exact same absurdity. We want the profound prestige of fluency, but we want to pay the price of a 3-day trial subscription.
Wait, I do have to push back on this a little bit, though.
Okay, let's hear it.
Because the author condemns these surface skimmers, but isn't there a ton of highly respected modern advice that tells us to fail fast?
True, yeah.
Like, if I try a career path for a few weeks and absolutely hate it, why on earth should I waste 10 years of my life on it? Isn't pivoting quickly a sign of intelligence?
Well, that's a really crucial distinction to make. Failing fast is great when you're testing a product market fit or a basic hypothesis.
Right.
But the author is talking about the pursuit of profound mastery, ultimate truths. The text uses this beautiful metaphor saying that entering a true path is deeper than the ocean.
Deeper than the ocean.
Yeah. The genuinely nourishing fruits, the real insights and masterful skills, they aren't floating on the sunlit surface. They exist at the very bottom, on the ocean floor.
So by constantly hopping from Buddhism to the Bible or French to guitar, you're actively guaranteeing you stay in the shallows.
You're playing in the wading pool and complaining that you haven't seen a whale.
That is a perfect way to put it.
And the text argues this perpetual surface skimming is driven by the desire for quick fame. And it's the root cause of our modern anxiety. We're starving for depth, but we refuse to hold our breath long enough to dive.
Okay, so if surface skimming is the disease, what is the historical cure?
The text points to the ultimate example of perseverance. The Tang monk from Journey to the West.
Definitely not a surface skimmer.
Not at all. To retrieve the true Buddhist scriptures, he endured 81 distinct hardships. He maintained his focus for 19 grueling years.
19 years.
And he walked more than 50,000 miles, step by step, entirely on foot.
That is a psychological crucible that I can't even fully wrap my head around.
But the essay argues it was only through that unrelenting gestation period that he tasted the sweet fruits of his labor. And then the author uses this to just hammer modern society.
Asking if we have even a fraction of that perseverance.
Exactly. And the answer is a depressing no.
Yeah, the text points out that modern people won't do a single day of voluntary work if there isn't an immediate, visible payoff.
Let alone walk for 19 years. People get agitated if they don't see benefits in a few months. They assume they're being stupid, and they quit.
Which has led to the death of the lifelong disciple.
Right. The person who dedicates their whole existence to a single craft or master. Modern people think they're way too clever and practical to be what they would call foolishly loyal.
Here's where it gets really interesting. This massive societal paradox. Society looks at the Tang monk, or anyone who dedicates a decade to an unproven pursuit, and calls it foolishness.
They tell them they're wasting their potential.
Right. But the text leans into the ancient idea that faith can move mountains. It argues that it is exclusively these so-called foolish people who actually get the ultimate rewards.
The ones who reject the practical calculations of the crowd.
But I keep bumping up against the sunk cost fallacy here.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Like, how do you, as a person trying to live your life, tell the difference between this noble, foolish loyalty and just stubbornly refusing to admit you've wasted 10 years on a terrible idea?
Well, the defining difference is the source of your motivation and your relationship to external metrics.
Okay, break that down.
The sunk cost fallacy is almost always driven by ego and fear. The fear of looking stupid to your peers or the desperate need to recoup a lost investment. It depends on external validation.
Got it.
But the foolish loyalty the text praises is driven by an intrinsic, unshakable faith in the gestation process itself.
So the Tang monk didn't walk 50,000 miles because he was worried about his reputation.
Exactly. He walked because the journey was the necessary price for the truth. He understood his own timeline.
Which brings us to the absolute climax of the essay, the parable of the honest man.
Oh, this parable is brutal.
It really is one of the most agonizing stories about human psychology and societal pressure I've ever read. It shows exactly what happens when you try to be patient, but you let outside noise break your resolve right at the finish line.
Walk us through it.
So an eccentric stranger approaches this honest, hardworking man. He hands him a single mysterious seed and says, "I stole this from the heavens. Plant it, and it will bear fruit worth more than gold."
The honest man is thrilled, obviously. He finds the most fertile soil, plants it, and tends to it night and day.
Fully invested. Year 1 goes by, then year 2. The tree thrives. It grows as high as the eaves of his house, with these incredibly lush, vibrant green leaves.
But no flowers.
Hey.
And absolutely no fruit.
None. But he stays patient, and he keeps watering it, but then we hit year 4.
Right. He's been staring at a leafy, fruitless tree for 4 years. And this is when the external pressure kicks in.
The neighbors notice. And neighbors never just passively notice things, do they?
No, they analyze, they judge, and they insert their opinions. They start mercilessly mocking the honest man.
Calling him stupid, mad, bewitched.
Telling him he's wasting the best years of his life acting like a lunatic over a useless tree.
It's just relentless.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the author is dissecting the precise mechanism of societal conformity here.
How so?
Society demands recognizable metrics of success. Money, status, immediate utility. If your pursuit doesn't generate those things on a conventional timeline, the crowd feels threatened.
And they use mockery to pull you back into their timeline.
Exactly. The honest man is wounded by the ridicule, but he holds on. He pushes forward past year 4.
But pushing forward just turns into 6 more years of daily humiliation. So we arrive at year 10.
A full decade.
10 years of his life poured into this dirt, and his reputation is completely ruined. He is universally known as the village idiot.
And this is his breaking point. He's not looking at a tree anymore. He's looking at 10 years of perceived failure.
He's totally internalized the crowd's definition of success.
Right. The mental anguish of feeling like you threw away a decade is just unbearable.
So he snaps. Consumed with rage over his wasted time and destroyed reputation, he grabs an axe and he chops the towering, lush green tree straight to the ground.
Violently ending the experiment.
Yes. And then the trap springs.
2 years after he chops it down, making it exactly 12 years since the celestial seed was planted. The eccentric stranger returns.
And the honest man has been waiting for this. He just unloads on the guy, screaming, calling him a liar, shouting, "I watched that damn tree for 10 years. It did nothing, so I chopped it down."
But the stranger doesn't argue. He just sighs, looks at the scump, and reveals the devastating reality.
This part hurts to read.
He tells the man, "You were too impatient. That specific tree needed exactly 12 years to bear fruit."
A 12-year gestation, and he made it 10.
The stranger says, this very year would have been its fruiting period. And then he clarifies what was actually lost. It wasn't a tree that produced gold. It was the tree of life.
The fruit of immortality.
Yes. Consuming it would have granted the honest man immortality. This stranger just shakes his head, murmurs, "What a pity," and vanishes in a puff of smoke.
It is so brutal. A decade of perfect care undone because he couldn't hold the line for just 2 more years.
And the core tragedy isn't that he lacked patience. It's that he outsourced his conviction.
Yeah.
He let the mockery of an ignorant crowd override his commitment. He let neighbors who knew nothing about celestial timelines dictate how a heavenly tree should grow.
Which is exactly what the author laments in the conclusion. stating that countless miraculous fruits vanish from the earth forever just because humanity is desperate for quick results.
And the final message points to a framework called Lifechanyuan.
Right, which in this context is presented as a spiritual mindset that holds the secrets of life and nature.
The author urges readers to step away from the crowd and carefully cultivate the Lifechanyuan tree. It's an invitation to abandon the toxic culture of surface skimming.
To rely on your own intrinsic faith, no matter how loudly the neighbors laugh.
Exactly.
So what does this all mean for you? We've gone from waiting 18 years for a walnut, to a cosmic peach, to a guy who chopped down his own immortality.
It's a lot to process.
It is. But how do you apply this to your own life? I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over, something that builds on that tragic parable.
Okay, let's hear it.
The text mentions this little detail that's so easy to gloss over. Even without the fruit, the tree had grown incredibly tall. It had these lush, vibrant green leaves. For 10 years, it undoubtedly provided magnificent shade.
That's true.
What if the honest man's ultimate mistake wasn't just chopping it down in year 10, but defining his success exclusively by the final harvest?
Oh, that totally shifts the paradigm of the story.
Right. If we can train ourselves to appreciate the shade, the resilience, the sheer beauty of the growth process itself, instead of agonizing over the final reward, wouldn't waiting 12 years feel almost effortless?
I think it would.
So take a look at your own life. What 12-year tree are you currently holding an axe to, just because it hasn't fruited on society's timeline yet? Put the axe down, enjoy the shade, and let it grow.